Born on December 1, 1949, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was a Colombian drug lord and a drug trafficker. Often called the king of cocaine, he was the wealthiest criminal in history. On the streets of Medellin, Pablo started his criminal career in his early teens. Escobar made his debut in the world of crime by selling fake high school diplomas with his cousin Gustavo Gaviria. After providing dozens of people with falsified academic documents, Escobar and his cousin moved on to a variety of other criminal schemes, finally ending up with drug trafficking. The demand for cocaine skyrocketed in the 1980s, and at its peak, Escobar's Medellin cartel smuggled 15 tons of cocaine per day to the United States. This was the equivalent of 2 African elephants. 4 out of 5 lines of coke came from the Medellin cartel. Escobar's yearly earnings peaked at an estimated $30 billion, and that including the $1 to $2 billion in losses a month. From 1987 until 1993, Escobar made the Forbes list of international billionaires, and in 1989 he ranked as the 7th richest man in the world. Escobar spent roughly $2,500 a month on just rubber bands for his cash. About 10% of Escobar's earnings were lost to spoilage. He also lost a large bulk of his money to rats. Escobar was responsible for the deaths of around 4,000 people. This included 200 judges and over 1,000 police workers, journalists, and government officials. He also bombed Avianca's Flight 203 in an attempt to kill an enemy who in fact managed to not take that flight after all. Pablo's greatest fear was extradition to the United States. The fear was so great, he attempted to change Colombia's law of extradition by paying the country's entire debt, an estimated $10 billion, a plan that eventually failed. At his extravagant estate in Puerto Triunfo, Escobar built a private zoo filled with hippos, giraffes, elephants, and other animals. Hippos, even to this date, roam the very grounds. In an attempt to appease the Colombian government and avoid extradition to the US, Pablo built himself a luxury prison and incarcerated himself in it. The prison was known as La Catedral. Diego Maradona, the famous Argentine football star, was invited to play a match at La Catedral. A quote from Maradona states, "We played the game and everyone enjoyed themselves. Later that evening, we had a party with the best girls I've ever seen in my life. And it was in a prison." When police seized 12 of Escobar's zebras, Escobar had his men buy 12 donkeys, paint them black and white, and bribe the security guard at the building where the animals were being held to switch them out. He used the same ploy to reclaim his confiscated exotic birds using chickens, geese, and ducks. Pablo Escobar employed numerous cocaine trafficking routes and methods, but one of his most ingenious techniques consisted of soaking jeans in liquid cocaine and legally exporting them to the United States. When the Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA, caught wind of the method, Escobar simply switched to soaking the boxes in which the jeans were packed. When the Escobar family was in hiding, Pablo's daughter became sick with pneumonia. In order to keep her warm, Pablo set fire to nearly $2 million. And finally, on December 2, 1993, Don Pablo, died at the age of 43.